The first motherfucker sit up there and sleep the whole time while I'm sitting there. I look at this motherfucker like,
You see what I'm saying?
how the hell are you gonna help me?
You
So
see
I
what
didn't
I'm
do
saying?
it no more for a while.
What
I
was
went to another one. He went to sleep.
Damn. Your story was that boring?
Evidently. Okay. But what it was, he's working both of them working full-time jobs.
Right.
Then come in the evening
Mm-hmm.
to have sessions, and their ass is tired.
Man, I think they need to get their shit together or find a new field.
And I told him when I would report it back to who I was paying for, I said, let me tell you one thing. Y'all need to get rid of that motherfucker. Both of them.
Because you ain't learning
I ain't learning damn thing.
You ain't learning goddamn
You said
thing
that
from
nodding
motherfucker.
on me because you too damn tired from work.
Right.
But then why are you doing it? How are you helping anybody? Just like all the money we done threw out here for drugs and for rehabbing and all this other stuff. They got all these bullshit companies out here supposed to be working with people, ain't doing nothing for them.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we as the state and the government, the federal government, paying all this money to these people and supposed to have regulatories go by and check and make sure they check the records, make sure they're getting this, make sure they're doing that, and they ain't doing it. And you wonder why you got so many people on the streets with problems, because nobody's helping them.
Nobody don't want to fucking talk about it.
All they want to do is make that money.
Mhm.
Years ago, they used to say a good professional was a person that was dedicated to their profession. You know what professionals is dedicated to now?
Cool. Money.
Money. So how are you helping anybody? And then you wonder why all the problems we got and nobody help nobody.
You see what I'm saying? It all stems from what I'm doing. Basically, what I did was I cried out. I cried
Mhm.
out. I let it out. I don't give a fuck who listened to it. At least it's out there.
First
And
thing they should be concerned with,
is what?
how much truth is to this shit? And then once you find out the truth, hey, I don't give a shit about the dirty link. Trust me, there's a whole bunch of mothers know.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
You see
they ain't
what
saying nothing, but they know.
Right.
Well, my thing is if I air something out, and if a listener has a disagreement with whatever the fuck I aired out, let's talk about it.
Let's talk
Mhm.
about it.
Talk about it.
Right.
Let's
Bring
That's
it
why
out.
I tell them. That's why I tell them send comments.
Bring it
Don't
out.
send me on via text message, satellite, whatever the fuck. Hit the comment button and hit that like button. Don't sit up here and say, "Oh, I'm gonna send this person the link, that person the link, this person." I don't give a fuck. If you send the devil himself on my goddamn channel, send a like button and comment, and we can talk about it.
Look how long it took the Catholic people. And some of them still trying. They finally just saying, hey, this did happen.
Mm-hmm.
They've been knowing this for years.
Mm-hmm.
And what the priest, what did the bishop find out priests is in this area doing this?
Mm-hmm.
They send them to another parish.
Now let me ask you a question. Mr. Ma'am. I was asked a question, right? This it's kind of crazy, but it's not crazy.
You were crazy
I
nigga,
said-
so it don't matter.
But
Go ahead
like,
and
but
say
like
it.
I said, yeah, I know I'm a fucking wacko.
Mm.
But like I said, put yourself in my predicament. My first presentation was that I don't like my mom. Okay. Now, I was asked the question, if she was to die, I laugh all the time. If she died the day of the month, right now, is this harsh? Okay. If she was to pass the day of the month, would I go to the funeral? When I was asked that question, I start busting out laughing, right? Because I'm pretty sure this person already know where I'm getting. And this is what I said to her. If I was to find out if she was to pass, I'm going straight to the bar and getting the strongest bottle of yak. Either Hennessy Black, Hennessy Gold, or Hennessy Silver. Whatever the fuck type of Hennessy is in that bitch, as long as that shit strong, I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to put a nice cup of Henny in that cup, and I'm going to throw that shit back straight. And I'm going to take a toast. Now that girl is gone. You feel what I'm saying? And I meant that. Let me tell you why. Because I aired it on my show, and I didn't give a fuck what anybody got to say, how they got to say it, and when they got to say it. Like I said, if you have any discrepancies about what my circle went through, not on the outside looking in, was in my thoughts inside that particular moment, at that second. You send a comment, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure we can chop it up. Because we can talk about it on the air. Not on the phone, on the air.
Yeah. Talk, man. Let's put it out there. Let's talk.
Talk about it on the air. Because this is what I do.
Now, my stepson. I'm a Christian, but I ain't made it all the way because you smack me, I'm going to smack sick shit out your back.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't turned that other cheek. I ain't got there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But I try to live a pretty good life as a Christian. I try not to be a hypocrite. Okay? I'm doing one thing. I'm out here screwing everybody this weekend. Then I go sit up in church on Sunday morning like I'm greater than that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If I have done something wrong over the years, I don't take communion on Communion Sunday. To read all that, you're going to live right, you're going to do this or that, because I know I didn't live right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, my stepson, for example. I've had this thought lately, especially in the last 2 or 3 months, that if his mother dies, God forbid,
Mm-hmm.
well, I even tell him that she even passed.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's pissed me off that bad and done so many things to me. And I backed up a little bit because I say, some of these things he's done to you, you shouldn't allow to happen. A lot of these things he's done, you had no control over. You know, we have you thinking one way, and he's doing something totally different. Now, what I'm wrestling with, and I probably will eventually, I'm going to tell you, I probably will allow, if she goes before me, again, God forbid, I probably would tell her about the funeral. Right now, I wouldn't do it. If something happened to her today or tomorrow, they said, well, how can you be a Christian and feel that way? Well, I'm also human.
Hell yeah. We're not perfect.
I'm also human.
What you think about that, Mr. L? Am I wrong for feeling how I feel? Now, mind you, now, before you add something, I'm gonna throw this out there too. She threw me out the street.
Well,
She didn't give a fuck.
let
Wells
me-
on it.
let me say this. So, the way I feel is that, you know, everyone is entitled to how they feel about what you went through in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not my position to criticize the comments being made on a show is all about airing it out. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge anyone else. You
I'm being
feel,
judged right now.
yeah. Well, I can tell you how I am. I can't judge you. You know what I mean? Like I said, you feel the way you feel because of what you've experienced.
Right.
My experience is totally different than yours.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was present. My mom was the greatest mom. And I love her and I respect her over that. So we have two different experiences.
All right.
Having two different experiences, of course, we're both going to feel differently. You know, just like I can't critique you, you can't critique me, and that's just the way it is. We have to air shit out. Now, I guess the only thing that I would like to hear is that maybe it's something that could be fixed. If something is broken, then maybe airing it out is a process to help us fix the shit. Because something is fucking broken. It's definitely broken. So I would rather hear about, okay, we know what the problem is. We know it's broken. Can it be salvaged? Can it be fixed so that we can become like a regular family? You know what I mean? We can become loving mother and loving son.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for that to happen, you got to air it out. You got to air it out, and we got to talk about it. You know, can we salvage it? You know what I mean? You know, shit happened in the past that we have no control over. I was an asshole back in the day. You know
Oh,
what
no
I mean?
fooling. You were?
I did some shit I'm not proud
I'll
of.
be right back.
You know, I repaired it,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody that I hurt in the past, you know, we squashed that shit.
Right.
It's like we hit a reset button. But one thing I do know is that I don't want to hate nobody, and this me just being fucking real. You know what I mean? I don't want to fucking hate nobody. I don't want nobody to fucking hate me. I don't like walking out a building, a door, my house, having to look behind my fucking back and shit. Wondering if somebody gonna take me the fuck out. Because I got enemies out there and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But airing it out is a way to get your resolutions fixed. If we don't talk about the shit continues to get swept under the motherfucking rug. And then once that rug gets so fucking powered up with shit, that's when shit start going to hit in the fan.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going to come out. Not just what you talked about, but what was under the rug from 5, 10, 20 years ago. All that shit's going to come out at the same time.
Fuck yeah. And
Why,
then
why,
prepare.
yeah. Why not try to take bits and pieces from all that bullshit we've been sweeping under the rug for all these fucking years? You know what I mean?
Right.
The shit you aired out is the shit that was sitting on that fucking rug for years, and you probably tired of that motherfucker being under there.
Exactly.
It had to be talked about because
Exactly.
it fucking happened.
Exactly.
We gotta stop ignoring this bullshit, man. Come on, man. We better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about white folks, they look at us and they fucking laughing at us.
All the time.
You know what I mean? They look at us and they criticize us all day long. I don't
Hell
give
yeah.
a fuck about that. Because regardless if I do a good job or bad job, they always want to fucking talk shit about me.
All the time.
I'm cool with that. I expect that shit, brother. But what I don't expect is for my brothers to be talking shit about me. I can't handle that because it's my people's. But if anything that I see is broken, I'm gonna try to fix the shit. You know what I mean? Now it takes not just one person, it takes everybody. Everybody gotta want the shit fixed. Okay, I put shit out there, this what the fuck happened. I take ownership of my faults. Now everybody else gotta take ownership of their fucking faults. That way we can fix this shit and we can just continue to live our fucking lives, man.
Mm-hmm. So
We shouldn't be fighting as black people. We shouldn't be fighting amongst each other. We shouldn't be each other's fucking enemy. You know what I mean?
Family, especially family.
Yep.
Especially
Those are the worst, man. I
Oh,
got
yeah, hell.
friends that are closer than fucking family. When I mean, I'm talking about black people as a whole, whether you family, friends. We shouldn't be fucking fighting with each other. We should be fighting the fucking enemy. You know what I mean? If we fighting amongst ourselves, then that means we our own fucking enemies, man.
Hell yeah.
Is that the case? Are black people at war against each other?
That's
And-
what they
and
want.
You have people that are doing it on purpose to
That's
keep
what
us
they
separated.
want. That's what they
Well,
want.
Okay.
that's what white folks want. White folks want black folks to be at each other's throats so
At
we
each
can
other's
kill
throats.
ourselves.
You got
That's
it,
why
brother.
they giving us the guns. They say, look,
Mhm.
they helping us out. We don't want the motherfuckers here anyway. Oh, just give them the guns, give them the drugs. They gonna kill each other anyway.
There you go.
You know what I mean? They helping us out. You know what I mean? We want our
But we ain't
cities
figured it
back.
out yet.
Right.
Because we so fucking stupid and fucking gullible. We can't see straight because we always worrying about the next motherfucker outshining us. Fuck that shit, man.
The
Fuck
crab thing. The live crabs.
I don't even
Right.
fucking like Maryland crabs. Fuck a crab. Fuck a crab. You know what the
Hey,
fucker, you know what the, no, let's keep this shit real. You know what fucking crabs eat? They eat
Everything.
They
Everything.
eat anything that's dead and fucking decaying. And motherfuckers sticking their fingers in that yellow nasty shit. That yellow nasty shit you eating out the crab is probably the leftovers from your dead motherfucking cousin that got shot in his head and shit. Because that crab ate everything on them. But that's what they do. They eat everything on the bottom of the ocean. They fucking scavengers, man. They eat molded shit, mildewed shit. They don't eat fresh shit. They eat shit that's fucking decayed and mildewed. And that's what the fuck that people like to eat, go on these crab feasts, and they love and dancing with these motherfucking scavengers. Get the fuck out of here. Give me a T-bone steak. Fuck that. Give me a goddamn
I'm gonna get
T-bone
what you
steak.
used to a McDonald's hamburger.
I'll take a McDonald's hamburger while I...
I'm gonna give you a good example real fast about me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For years, I couldn't stand my father.
Right.
And the reason why I couldn't stand him is because he wasn't around. And the stories that my mother and my grandmother told me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was born in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Came up here 2 years. Came up there after I was 2 years old. Then started living up here ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, in 1989, I was married. My wife says, somebody keeps calling you from New York. I said, from New York? I said, shit, I ain't been in New York. I can't tell you when. It's a Sergeant Sam Jones. I said, that name sounds familiar, Sam Jones. So I wouldn't answer, never answered. So finally she said, look. And I think, wait a minute, Sam Jones. My daddy's name was Sam Jones. So I went to try to talk to my mother, and my mother says, that's your daddy, don't worry about it, he ain't been worth a shit, he ain't no good, and da-da-da. So that's the impression I had all my life. He didn't give a shit about me, he didn't care, this, that, whatever. So finally one day I listened to my wife and I answered the call. And it was my father.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He wanted me to come to New York to visit him. I said, fuck, I ain't visiting that nigga. He ain't just shit for me. Then a little while later on, I decided to go visit him. Well, here's the story that I found out that my mother and them didn't tell me. And she thought that he pushed her on the side and just got her pregnant, and that was it, and just left her. Wasn't the case at all. In South Carolina, the name Jones was very reputable.
Mm-hmm.
They had land, they had houses, they had this, that, and whatever. My mother got pregnant. She was from the other side of the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The mother, my father's mother, controlled the house quite a bit, but the daddy really ran it. She didn't want him to marry my mother. He wanted to marry my mother.
Mm-hmm.
But he listened to what his mother wants. Okay? So he didn't marry my mother.
Mm-hmm.
My mother thought that he never wanted nothing to do with her.
Mm.
But that wasn't the case. Her mother thought he didn't want nothing to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
So to go along with his wishes, which this is over almost, shit, this is about 75 years ago. No, 80-some years ago. Okay? You kind of listen to your mama, down south especially. So he got married, had 2 or 3, 4 children, but he didn't live in South Carolina no more.
Mm-hmm.
He moved out of South Carolina up to New York. Because everybody went north to try to make more money and this and that. He took care of his family, had babies over the years with his wife, but he had his house and she had her house.
Mm-hmm.
He did not live with her after the first few years, because that's not where he wanted to be, and that's not where his heart wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the other part of the story is, out of all the children, my father always joked. He was a jokester, so you got to why I'm so crazy.
Mm.
Okay. He said I had 8 children,
Mm-hmm.
4 inside children, and 4 outside children,
Right.
and I ain't claiming no more. He said, now you're one of the outside children. Well, the other part of the story was, when I said something, I think yesterday, that whatever about me having a college education,
Mm-hmm.
I could have had one. When I went down there and found this early on in life, but I didn't really pay attention because I didn't know what all this was about. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I said I don't have a college education, and I probably wouldn't live anyway. But that was another part of the story. But the main reason I have a college education is my grandfather, since I was the first boy, even though my brother is 2 months younger than me. That's from the natural mama and from the outside mama.
Right.
Okay. He said, I want that boy down here because he's the first boy. I want him to go to school. I will take care of him. I will raise him, give him anything he wants, this and that, because he's the firstborn. My mother said, hell no. Because she didn't know the whole story. She just thought he just left her and the street, got the booty, and went on about his business. He didn't give a fuck about it. And that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
Because his mother, never told the father he had a child on the outside.
Mm.
But when Daddy found out, Daddy said, "Oh no, I want that boy here." But my mother and them never knew this. So all these years, I had all this hatred for my daddy.
Because of lies.
Uh huh.
Because of lies and shit.
So we got there, and I was fortunate enough. We got there, and I went there and talked to him. We got together, and then he got sick, and then he moved back down to South Carolina. I would go down there and visit him for about 2 or 3 summers. But so we had a very good relationship. I'm happy that we had the relationship that we had, and that I didn't die with this lie that he didn't give a fuck about me. Because nobody wants to talk about it.
You see what I'm saying? Lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Family skeletons. Sometimes that shit is worth coming out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's worth coming out. Matter of fact, fuck all that. All the skeletons should be coming out. Fuck all that sugarcoat shit. All that shit.
Why
Because at
don't we
least
take a
it's
shit
out
to our grave, on the deathbed? Well, I got 5 children on the outside that they ain't here with your mama. Half the neighborhood, half the world know you got 5 children outside.
That's what I'm saying.
What the hell you hiding it for?
Don't confess shit on your fucking
Right.
deathbed. You might as well fucking let it out now. Because at least you can deal with the bullshit later on.
It's just like when we sneak around. I'm too old now, because you got to just sneak around